Football fans, we are back to bring you Season 11, Episode 2 of Hard Knocks featuring the Los Angeles Rams. You don't want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, Afterbuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It's just the head bob, right? And maybe a little bit of shoulders. Joe and I are back to talk to you guys all about Season 11, Episode 2 of Hard Knocks featuring our Los Angeles Rams. We got a win off of the first preseason game. We got a W. We got the W. And I am Lyndsey Wegner. You guys can tweet me at Lyndsey Wegner. I'm joined by Joe Doyle.
Hey,
Joe,
what's up,
where
guys?
can they tweet you?
At JoJo Doyle. So nice. You used my first name twice.
Oh, yes. Of course, you know, last week we had a bunch of songs play throughout the episode, and we did not get this week, and we both expected them to kind of keep with the California songs, but they didn't, so.
Yeah, at one point in time, I could have sworn that they were playing the Reigns of Castlemere from Game of Thrones. Just like mixed up differently when they were talking about Rhino's injury.
Oh!
And I was like, is that the Reigns of Castlemere? But I was like, nah, that couldn't be. I might have to rewatch again because I tried to play it again. I don't think it was.
Well, we decided to stick with a little Tupac for you guys here in Los Angeles. So we jump right into this episode. What did you think about this episode? Was it more of what you expected for the typical Hard Knocks? Did you like it better than the first episode? Is there things that you wish would have been different?
We're getting into the nitty gritty now of actually playing a preseason game, and so I liked it because we got to see coming up to game time. There's still a lot of shenanigans that I really enjoyed seeing from the players, but what I got still confused about is they were jumping around so many different times, and I didn't really know. Like, wait, that was kind of funny. Who was that guy? Let me look at things up. Or, oh, there was that camp fight. Like, I love camp fights, and it's gonna happen. And I was trying to figure out who it was, and I saw it was between Aaron Donald, but I couldn't see the offensive player and who it was.
I agree. I think this, just introducing a guy and then moving on, it just doesn't. If they're doing something for the episode or they're doing something in the game, I understand it. But we don't see Spruce at all until we get to game time. And until we get to the third quarter of the second half of the game.
Yeah.
So we've heard nothing about him at all, but he's been on the team, unlike Hill, who just got signed this last week.
Yeah.
Right? Before the game.
Correct.
So, I mean, we saw him actually during the show. They're showing him signing contracts and stuff, but we don't see anything about Spruce until the actual game. Where I would have preferred to see something about him and know who this guy is before he's making touchdowns.
I wonder if he was kind of quiet in preseason, like training camps, and then just all
exploded.
Of a sudden, just started flashing. I wonder if that was the case, or maybe Hard Knocks had so many other people to worry about that they thought, oh, okay, this Spruce kid, whatever, we'll just see what happens when it happens. And
we're getting to know the coaches a little bit more too now as episode 2 comes in, getting to know them a little bit better and seeing, not only are they strict and hard on the team, kind of like Waffle is, he's the hard ass, but then you get some of the guys that are making them have fun. Whoever the coach was for the grip competition.
Yeah.
That was fun. This is in the guys, like strength and conditioning coaches that were getting thrown in the water during their pool recovery time. So it's nice to see that both sides of it. So let's talk a little bit about this first practice on the 6th of August that they played at the actual Coliseum. Keenan points out right away, there's a lot more people here.
Big time.
This is huge. I know that my roommate went to the game this last weekend, and I had a couple other friends at the game this last weekend. And he said to leave, it was 2 hours before you could catch the Metro back. It was a 2-hour line.
It was a record-setting attendance for a preseason game in the U.S. So it was setting records. There were so many people there. Adam Schefter tweeted that it was $80 for parking at and around the stadium. So people were pumped. I mean, the fans aren't
the fans are glad they're here.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're showing the support by being at the game, by being excited about the Rams being back. You know, no one's holding any grudges.
No, they're just happy that they're back in their lives, and it was so just energizing. The day of the game, like, I mean, I didn't really know anybody that was going, but something was different. Something was in the air down here that translated across, just not even just like LA proper, but like the counties and all around. It just brought a whole bunch of energy to the city.
I didn't hear any negative press about the game, where, you know, you hear negative press about the Dodger games and stuff like that. It seemed like everybody was really in a great celebration mode. It also helped that they won. But it seems like it's a really positive thing for Los Angeles, and it'll be interesting when their stadium actually gets built, how excited the fans are then to be in the new stadium that they're getting.
That's going to be a scary place to play. If this was any indication, if 90,000 people, it's going to be record sellouts every single home game. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's like Packer games. You guys know I'm going to bring that up every single time if I can.
Might get crazier than Packer games. Better watch out.
So, you know, we really didn't see a whole lot of Todd Gurley this episode, just pretty much in the beginning, getting a little warm up in. And then later on with a conversation with Gruden about, like, the upcoming game and everything. But right away off the bat, we see what they showed us, previewed in last week's episode, was the fight between the offense and defense, which we discussed. Was Donald was in it, but we weren't sure who the offensive guy that was a part of this fight that kind of got going. It's going to happen. Offense and defense, when they're in practice, these guys don't get along. They're not friendly. They're doing everything separately. They are not really doing anything together except when they're practicing. Once they're on the field at a game, sure, of course, they're happy with each other and they're going to root each other on. But when they're in practice, these guys, they're not getting along.
Right, big time. And a lot of times there could be a situation where there's some bubble player that needs to show the coaches that he's, you know, worth it and he should stay on the team, and he's going to start to challenge the people like Aaron Donald. And I imagine that he's like, okay, young buck, get out of my face. Like, you know, don't mess with me. I already got my spot. And so I imagine those tempers would really flare as well.
Well, and the coaches are pushing him hard too, especially with Waffle, with his military background, saying he's like, I want that quarterback down. That's not a good plan unless the quarterback's down. So, I mean, it's pressure. It's everything. It's people being at the practices, watching them. They want to see action.
Now, it could have been, like, since I couldn't see who it was on the offensive side, maybe it was a rookie that's trying to get a spot on the line. I know that there was a training camp fight with the Seattle Seahawks against Michael Bennett and the draft pick for the offensive line who's expected to start. And it was interesting to kind of hear about that and how it was Michael Bennett trying to push this young player to kind of see if he has a breaking point and how much he can take before he breaks. And almost like an internal test type of thing. And so I hope that it was something along those lines, and it was Aaron Donald trying to vet these new rookies and you know, show them that you're in the NFL now and it's time to play. I'm top dog and you got to fight for this. That's the fight to stay in it. Fight to get that spot on the roster. So we get Denard Wilson, the defensive backs coach. He's talking about the depth chart. He says, you got to play with swagger, but you got to back it up. And we know, I mean, the defensive line for St. Louis is one of the best. L.A. I do it too. I do. We do it. I know. I do it too. I do it too. Oh my gosh, I can't help it because I'm just thinking of fantasy football and who I'm drafting, and I keep seeing St. Louis. And sorry, no, it's Los Angeles. Sorry guys, pardon me. Yeah, one of the best defensive line, if not the best defense, hands down. And their coaches are just bringing the action, bringing the talk, and they're walking the walk. Like big time. And it makes me, hearing those coaches, I can understand how those players play so hard for them, because I'm sitting on my couch, you know, shoveling Skinny Pop in my mouth because I'm trying to stay healthy, and sitting there going, I'll go to war for you. Let's do this. Like, tell me someone I can hit. You know, just because they pump me up so much, I can only imagine what it would be like in that meeting room. Well, and I thought it was really great hearing the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, say to get in the playoffs and win championships, they have to win by winning the close games. That's the game that you want. So a game where you're
losing 24-7 like the Rams were in this first preseason, that's not the game you're worried about. Obviously great that they came back and won. I mean, by a huge deficit. That's always inspiring. But it's those games that are neck and neck the entire time that you can pull out that win. You know you played a great team. You know you played a good game, a good solid game. That's how you're going to win the championship. So like you said, this is really amping up the players. It's amping us up at home, getting us excited for the game. It's got to be inspiring for the guys.
Oh, and what a great feeling to know that the team is so deep. You know, to have that much depth to come back in the late, in the late quarters. Because that's really what it is in preseason. I mean, yeah, you're going to win games, you're going to lose games. But to see a team that's like the third, fourth string, those bubble players, step up and come back, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Absolutely. And so we've got Waffle, who is saying, you got to get tough. You got to be mental. It's not just physical, it's mental as well. We've got William Hayes, who is our defensive end. That is our DraftKings live read we have to do for you guys.
This just in
from the news desk. Do you want to do it now? Should we
yeah,
wait?
Why not? Well,
let's get to this.
Yeah,
Tell me about DraftKings.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Football is your passion, right? It's my passion too. And you know all the players and the teams, their strengths and weaknesses. Now we can put that knowledge to the test and play for our shot at the $1 million top prize at DraftKings.com. It's just part of the $5 million in total prizes they're doling out this Week 1 contest. DraftKings.com is the destination for 1 week fantasy football. 1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want with the players you want. Just pick your contest, draft your players, and follow your team live. Renew old rivalries by challenging friends and family in a private league, or prove you're the superior GM for the big league. Join your existing league and go head-to-head with friends, coworkers, and fantasy players from all across the country. Hurry to DraftKings.com now to choose your players, and you could seriously cash in on Week 1. Use the code BUZZ and play for free with your first deposit. That's code BUZZ to play free with your share of $5 million in total prizes in this Week 1 contest, only at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com eligibility restrictions may apply. See website for details. So check in.
I think the one thing that I really actually enjoy about DraftKings, because I know you play fantasy football, I play fantasy football, it's nice to have just 1 week where you don't have to worry about who's injured because they don't have to be on your team that week then. You had somebody picked up that goes out, you're good to go. And it's a week-by-week thing. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I did it last year.
Make some bucks.
I didn't make any money off of it.
But
I tried.
Now you'll know.
I put in a good effort, for my first time ever doing it. So maybe I'll actually win this year.
There you go.
Try and win something. $1 million. Okay, so they're talking about William Hayes, who's our defensive end. He played with Fisher for the Tennessee Titans in 2012, so they already have this history together. And this is where we get a little bit of our fun side of watching this show. Like we saw last week with the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. That Goff did not know this. Tell me the funny thing that Mr. Hayes believes in.
Well, Mr. Hayes is really excited to come to Coast because he wants to see a mermaid. He believes the mermaids are completely 100% real, and on the other side of it, completely does not believe that dinosaurs are real at all. And this is the whole problem with the Discovery Channel making all these crazy shows like on Monster Week where they're making do mermaids exist, and they make this thing up, and they're making William Hayes look like an idiot.
They're not really painting football players this year in the smartest light. And like I said, Goff went to school at Berkeley.
Yeah.
That's not an easy school to get into. So these guys, I'm sure he got in on football scholarships too.
True.
But,
True.
You have to have something. And I think, but it's kind of nice to have moments like these because they are just real people with, he's like, have you ever seen a dinosaur? No man has ever seen a dinosaur. So how do they really exist? He makes some good points. But I do believe mermaids are real.
Hey, you know what? I can't say that they're not. I'd love to have them be real.
I believe they're out there.
Yeah.
I believe in the fairy tale stuff.
Well, like they do say that back in the day that many people thought that the oarfish was mistaken for mermaids. So Google the oarfish. It's a really rare creature. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, and he talks about the fact that there's sea life and out in the oceans and everything. So sharks, they say sharks evolved from dinosaurs. So you're getting all this. It's great TV. It's just good TV. I enjoy it. I'm actually happy to see like these moments like this that break down the heightened atmosphere between the players and the fighting and everything, and just we get some lighthearted bits and pieces too.
And the thirst for knowledge, it's really interesting.
Yeah. So we've got they talk a little bit about Keenum, who only plays he passed for 6 for 7 completions, 58 yards in the game, the first preseason game. But they talk about that he's the NCAA all-time record holder for completions, yards, and touchdowns.
It's a bad boy.
So he's a great quarterback, but he didn't really like the spotlight on him.
No. Well, I mean, I think that he knew too that people weren't trying to get a piece of him, and I think that kind of shows, in my mind, it was kind of nice. It shows his composure and his like maturity level to be in a quarterback competition and not hold that grudge. Like, that's cool. Go ahead and look at Goff all you want. Put all the pressure on him. I'm going to be back here doing my reps and trying to take his job back.
But Foles would have started this season had it not been for Goff anyway, so Keenum would have been second string anyway.
Yeah.
So perhaps he's comfortable in that because that's where he knows that he's probably going to end up. More than likely, Goff is going to end up starting.
Yeah. Unless Sean Mannion keeps playing like he played at the end of the game.
But let's remember, too, this is third string against third string.
True.
So against a number one, defense or your starters may not be. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news.
No, I agree.
I am all for positivity.
I agree.
But he had a great game.
He did. Now, I completely agree with you. I don't think that, Sean Mannion's all of a sudden going to be starting, but I'd look to see if Sean Mannion gets a couple more reps earlier in the game, especially if Goff's shoulder still is still a little wonky, because they did pull him because they said there was a little soreness in his non-throwing arm. So who knows? Maybe Sean Mannion's going to get those reps and make something out of nothing.
They don't want to get their star quarterback hurt before the season even begins. They're going to hold on to him, make sure that he's good for the game, for that first season opener.
Mm-hmm. Because if he gets pounded, then he's going to start seeing ghosts, just like they say Jay Cutler did.
Hey guys, sorry about that little glitch. We had a blackout here on our show. So if I cover something that we already talked about, I apologize because we're not quite sure when it happened. But so let's quick talk about the fact that Case Keenum was the NCAA all-time record holder for completions, yards, and attempts, or yards and touchdowns. So he's coming in, but he's really letting Goff take over in the spotlight. He's stepping back for him, and Goff is stepping up to the plate. Case had 6 for 7 completions in the game with 58 yards. Goff had the interception. He had 4 for 7 completions, and Mannion came in and just
throwing lasers.
Yeah. What was it, 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns?
I think it was...
It was 2 throwing touchdowns. Was it 2 or was it 3?
I'm not too sure. But he threw a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And was just lights out with that Spruce kid.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely clicked with him.
And Manny was actually a third-round pick, 89th overall in the draft this last year. So he was, third pick, too, already knowing that they had Goff was, they're coming back with another good quarterback. We don't know if he's really going to be playing much under Keenum, because we believe that Goff is going to be starting. But, we'll find out. We were also talking about the fact that Chris Weinke is the quarterback coach. He was actually drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays and spent 6 years in the minors from 90 to 96, attended FSU, and actually won the Heisman Trophy And he's the oldest guy to win the Heisman Trophy, which is fantastic. So he's already got the background. He actually was drafted by Carolina in 2001, released in 2006, and actually went to the 49ers in 2007. He only played a few games, but he's played, he's got the knowledge, he's got everything to really bring a quarterback in and develop them.
Yeah.
And really make them big. And if you're coming in with great stats like Case Keenum is, even though Foles was going to be starting this season if they hadn't picked up Goff, they're really, really building a great quarterback and hopefully a great legacy for Los Angeles now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think that it really shows in how they treated him in the game is they know that Goff is the future. Everybody knows he's the future. And they also want him to be the present. And so if he wants to be present, he also has to stay healthy and stay able to get out on the field.
Well, they had some reporters interviewing a couple of the guys, and the two guys they really wanted to talk to were Aaron Donald and Todd Gurley. But before we got that, we had a little, Goff was giving an interview, and they were asking him questions, what he preferred, sushi or hamburgers. He chose sushi, Lakers over the Clippers, up over here, down over there, sweats over suit, and Bieber over Timberlake, which we both completely disagree with.
No, I'm rooting for Sean Mannion now to start for this team. I'm sorry, Jared Goff, but you need to get your priorities straight.
I'm not a believer.
No.
Even if he's closer in age. Justin Timberlake, he's the man.
Yeah. I mean, Bieber's okay. But Justin, there would be no Bieber without Justin.
He's developing the leadership in practice. Coaches are noticing. Not Bieber. Clearly Goff. He's throwing great in practice, but I think they're going to hold him off until the season starts so that he has no injuries because he did get hit. He got railed pretty hard when he threw that interception. Mm-hmm. So it was good. I think that they're keeping him out and protecting him until the season starts. So Jon Gruden and Les Snead were there. Jon Gruden was prepping for his show. This goes to show the actual behind the scenes work that they do before a game comes in, or before a game happens. So he's prepping for Saturday's game against the Cowboys, talking to Donald, talking to Gurley, and Donald admitted that Goff can throw the ball. He goes, that guy can throw the ball, and preseason will help him. And when they talked to Todd Gurley, he said his most proud moment was in the Pro Bowl last year.
That's cool because a lot of people will pass on the Pro Bowl because they don't want to get hurt. And everyone's talking about how the Pro Bowl, the quality has started to go down. And so that's really neat to hear that a player is really appreciative of that honor.
Absolutely. UC Irvine's campus is quite vast, I would say. So Coach Fisher's talking about the alternate modes of transportation that these guys are using, whether it's a golf course, a golf cart, scooter, bike, whatever it is. And he's saying, you guys be careful. And of course, we see this montage of all the guys getting places. And Kenny Britt and Brian Quick flip over their little dune buggy. And I'm thinking, oh my God, someone's going to get hurt. And they're going to be out because of this,
totally boneheaded move. Yeah, just because they're trying to be all hot stuff driving around the campus in a go-kart, which I feel like is not completely with the college's guidelines of what you can and can't do.
No.
But I mean, it's it's the LA Rams. I'm sure they'll give them certain
No
liberties.
one's in school right now anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Or they weren't.
Yeah.
And Fisher's giving a little interview about Tavon Austin. They're asking him, tell us a little bit about his personality. And he says, well, he's got two speeds, fast and asleep. So it's kind of like his personality. He's either go, 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 or he's just
out.
Even keel. They said that last year they were dead last in the receiving team in their offense. Mm-hmm. So they're really thin on wide receivers this year. So even though they have Tavon Austin complaining about cramping up last week because he only had 2 bananas, they do have Brian Quick and Kenny Britt. But I think that these wide receivers, these young wide receivers that are coming in like Hill and Spruce are really going to need to step up because I want to root for Spruce after a game like that. And we can talk a little bit more about him, but they do need some really, really great wide receivers and offense this year. And with Trey Mason still not returning any phone calls or anything, he's out. But thankfully, Benny Cunningham is stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, I like Benny Cunningham. I think he's got a lot of get off, off that line of scrimmage. He's got a good burst. And I think he'll turn into a good 1-2 punch with Todd Gurley. If they need to spell him a little bit, I feel confident that, Benny Cunningham will at least be able to shoulder the load for those, like maybe 12 carries that he might, get during a game.
And this may mean that a rookie running back may actually get the opportunity to be on the roster this year versus Trey Mason, who I'm pretty sure they're just waiting till camp's over and they drop him at the end because they don't want some other team to pick him up.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing them any favors.
No. And who's to say? I mean, he could be in horrible, like shape, and maybe that's why he's not returning calls, because he decided to play some, video games a little too much over the season. Nobody knows. I mean, hopefully he gets right mentally and physically, and he can be an asset somewhere, because I don't think it's going to be with the Rams.
So we have Austin Hill, who is the son of David Hill, former tight end for the Rams, and the nephew of CBS 2 Sports anchor Jim Hill. And he may be a long shot to make the team, but you said that he's played before, and you said that he was on the roster.
Yeah, like I got this roster. I did some like some scouting reports earlier, and I got this, downloaded it before we did episode 1, and his
He's
name,
on it.
Yeah, number 9, Austin Hill, wide receiver, 6'3", 212, age 25, out of Arizona. And so it's interesting. I'm sure maybe they did a little B-roll beforehand to get, like some good, footage for the season. But I thought that was interesting.
Well, and he had a decent rookie season at Arizona. He was just kept out with knee injuries the past few seasons. But his girlfriend and his daughter want to see him play again, and they're excited, and they're at the game, and they're wishing that he was getting in, and his daughter was so cute.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I want to squeeze her. She wants to see Daddy catching the football, which was adorable.
But he didn't get any reps. He wasn't getting out on the field, and that's going to be problematic, especially for a bubble player like that.
Yeah. So we actually came then to John Fassel, the special teams coach, coordinator, and he had the ball drill. So basically it came down to Duke Williams, wide receiver, versus Zach Lasky, for the Bose speakers, right? It was speakers.
Yeah.
Whoever could grip the ball and hold on to it, and the rookie Duke ended up winning it all.
Which I'm sure that the vets didn't appreciate. Not at all, but hey,
strength champion.
Yeah.
Rookie strength champion. That's gonna fire him up if anything.
Oh yeah, big time.
And we also see another new player kind of coming into play, the rookie Ian Seau, who's Junior Seau's nephew, and obviously we know that Junior Seau had committed suicide and shot himself in the chest because he had so many issues after post-concussion. So they wanted to be able to study his brain, and this is where all this new information is coming out, that you have a couple concussions and this is serious damage that's happening. So hopefully I would like to get a little bit more into that. Yeah. And find out more about that and find out about their relationship. And he played really well in the game. I think he solidified a spot on the team 100%.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, because I know, like especially with Austin Hill, he's a Rams legacy, and that could have been why, he perhaps got drafted, or signed onto this team, is, okay, let's throw the legacy a bone. But that's not the case with Ian, because he would have been at the Chargers if he wasn't able to ball. But he balled out, sounds like pretty good during that game.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's the truth, and let's see if he can get a spot on the team.
Waffle said he had good get-off, so hopefully I think he's somebody that I definitely believe will get a spot on the team, even though the defense is so strong. I think he'll be a great asset to them and great to mold and work with. So it was 22 years since an NFL game was at the Coliseum. They've now got these kind of electric dummies that they're like driving around that are remote controlled. How cool. I mean, remote control cars as you're a little kid are the coolest things. So now you have an actual like robot.
And I think it's really cool, because especially for defensive players that can't hit the quarterback, like it's gonna start posing some real problems for these mobile quarterbacks, because they can like now mimic their escape ability. in practice, and they could lay him out. So that'll be fun.
It was funny to watch Keenum going after Goff and Tavon Austin, who you said he threw a punch at it.
Yeah. The Tavon was ready. He was with the 1-2. He wasn't gonna get messed with. It was funny.
What I also really liked was I liked the flashbacks this episode. We saw the flashback with Junior Seau in 1998. We also flashed back to Jeff Fisher coaching
with
back
his
in
super
91
shorts.
with the short shorts. And he said, training camp at that time was about hitting. And it was about players getting in shape. Now everyone's already in shape. Mm-hmm. So this is who's going to make the team. Recovery, which is where we get to the pool workout with the strength and conditioning coaches, where, who was it? Jamon Brown, refused to get in the pool. He's like, this is 13 feet deep. I'm not getting in there. And they're like, well, you don't have to go in the 13 feet deep part. And they're like, we'll give you noodles. He's like, I don't trust these things.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He needs more than 2 noodles.
Yeah, and Alec Ogletree calling himself the Michael Phelps Black Edition was hilarious. Laughed out loud right there.
Oh, man.
And the guys throwing the coaches in the pool. It's all about fun. It's he doesn't trust the floaties, though, Brown. Just does not trust the pool floats.
Yeah, I don't think he had a lot of experience with pools back in his, growing up, and so I don't blame him. I mean, big guy like that, not
He's
knowing.
sinking to the bottom.
Yeah.
So they have a full staff meeting where Barrett Trotter, the offensive quality control, is noticing that Goff is starting to trust his teammates, and he's frustrated when he makes a poor decision, which is the mark of the beginning of a great quarterback, knowing when you mess up. I always would get frustrated because I felt like when Brett Favre would throw interceptions, he didn't seem like he cared, which I guess you don't want the other team to see your frustration. But as a fan watching, I'm going, get it together.
Yeah. Go, look at the, review what just happened, and then...
You should be upset about this.
Exactly. Try to figure out what you missed and what, reads you didn't get, and know it next time. So nothing like that happens again. That's what I want out of, my quarterback, is that, okay, yeah, I messed up, but why did I mess up? Okay, that's not going to happen again. That's what I like to see, and that's cool that Jared's starting to do that.
Exactly.
It's necessary, because just because he got drafted like this, I mean... He might not start. I mean, everybody knows he's going to start, but he's got to put in the work.
He's got to put the work in to get that position. Another player that we see and learn a little bit about is rookie Brian Randolph, the safety, who wants to be number 37, is number 43. It's really interesting that he ended up getting out in the game, tearing his ACL. And a lot of these guys are really superstitious about things. So could it be the fact that he was number 43 and not 37?
He'll think that.
He'll think that. So, I mean, that's bad. But we also saw a little bit about his background with Pharaoh Cooper and the hit that he had last year.
That was nasty.
On him. I mean, them showing all the different footage and angles of it. I mean, at first when I saw it, I was like, well, that wasn't... It was a good hit. It was a good, solid, hard hit.
Right.
But then as you see the other side and then the close-up and you're seeing him drop the helmet...
Yeah, it was nasty. I mean, I could see that maybe he thought, in that split second, he thought that Pharaoh caught the ball, or something like that. But
that was a cheap shot.
It was.
And he would have been fined and kicked out of the game had it been an NFL game. So, I mean, they call him the Rhino because he's hitting people, and you see that even during the preseason game.
Yeah.
He's making those plays.
Yeah,
it's a shame that he got injured. And it didn't really look like he came in contact with... I was trying to watch it, and I replayed it a couple times. Didn't really look like he came in contact with anyone, just kind of twisted the wrong way.
And that's what's going to get you is those non-contact injuries. Is usually when, those ACLs, LCLs, MCLs start to happen. And that's the scariest thing. Same thing with Jordy Nelson. When he went down, it was that same kind of non-contact injury, and that's when fans start to freak out.
Absolutely, because it's fear of doing that again. It's like Derrick Rose when he tore his ACL, right? And then he tore the other one. So poor guy, you fear that at that turn when you're getting down at the end of the court and you flip around and you twist it yourself.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And that's where a lot of players that are coming back from injuries like that are really struggle is having the confidence to cut off of, on those, injured knees and injured ankles. And so, yeah, I hope he comes back strong, but that's rough to start training camp
right
with.
off of that first game when he looked like he would be
balling.
great. Yeah,
he was balling.
Coming off of the Gabby Douglas kind of national anthem issue, I thought this was really neat to see Jeff Fisher's take on what he wants the team to do for the national anthem and the respect. This is their opportunity to show respect to the players, to the fans, to the country. I thought that was really, really great and inspiring to see. I wouldn't have been surprised had I seen a few tears in the house during that speech, because I thought it was really heartwarming.
Yeah, and it's good that he lets everybody know about that, because everyone should have that reverence, in that situation, especially with, it's the Rams in LA. Even more eyes are going to be on them now than they were in St. Louis, and so they want to make sure that, these guys aren't messing around.
Be lucky that they're here starting. That's how they're starting the game. Show the other team, this is what we're doing. We're coming here to play.
We're ready.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the game before we have to wrap up here. Right off the bat, we had a touchdown from Whitehead and then Des Bryant, who's just a beast and a monster in himself. I'm not a huge Des Bryant fan. I think he's kind of a baby.
He whines a lot.
A little bit of a whiner. But, Keenum went in confident. And even though he only played, a few snaps, he did well. And I think his wife was happy to, see him. She wished that he could have thrown the touchdown.
Yeah.
But don't they all?
Yeah, points are points.
Points are points. They're excited.
Yeah.
So Cunningham got that one. And so that puts them at 14-7. Eric Dickerson, former LA Ram, is there.
He's in the building.
How funny was it to see Cush lose his helmet?
Oh, man. He was
Panic.
freaking out because he can't get in the game if he misses reps. Because is he the starter? I don't think he's the starting center. No. Or maybe he is. I'm getting confused.
I think he is, because he was the one giving Goff the advice about, I need you to touch me here. I need you to be in right there. So I think, pretty sure he's the...
Yeah, so, but that would freak out because, oh, man, can you imagine getting an earful off the coaches if you can't find your helmet?
Oh, gosh.
That's bad. That's extra laps for sure.
Absolutely. And Goff really did have a pass to Cooper, but Cooper just could not hold on to it. I mean, he should have, but he also got that interception and then was taken out after that. By the half, Williams got a touchdown and Bailey had a kick, so they were 24-7 at halftime.
That's rough. That's rough to come back from.
In your first game back in LA.
And your starters are not going to be playing from that point on.
No. So we do come back. Sean Mannion comes in. He ends up with 18 and 25, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, all in the second half.
They had to air it out, and boy was ready.
He was ready. Reynolds wanted his touchdown ball. Obviously, you want that first ball. And the defense pitched a shutout, which was great. And this is, granted, it's a third-string defense playing against the third-string offense, but it's still showing they're a powerful team.
Yeah, it's indicative of their depth. And when you have big players on the defense like Donald and Robert Quinn, you need to have good backups and competent backups. And it showed that the team is ready for that, just in case, one of those guys isn't ready to go.
And we already talked a little bit about Randolph who made plays but ended up getting hurt. Hill wanting to play. And Nelson Spruce came in, and we really didn't see anything about him until the game. So the last 15 minutes of the episode, 10 minutes of the episode. He's a Wookie. He's a Wookie. He's a rookie wide receiver. He made some really great plays. And what I was going to say earlier was he really reminded me a lot of Wes Welker.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for him to make the team. I just don't know. Because Welker was a standout because of the Patriots, because of Tom Brady, then because he went to the Broncos and was playing with Peyton Manning. But he played at Miami before he played at the Patriots, and nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
So if Norman Spruce was playing 5 years later with Jared Goff, who's now ready to go, ready to lead the team, it might be different. But you've got a rookie quarterback and a rookie wide receiver. he's got to. I think he has to continue. I really want to believe in him.
Yeah.
I want to push for him. I believe in him. I think the fans believe in him. They were really excited after the game, but he's got to stand out at practice in all these games in order to make the team.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of times these smaller players, out of the slot, can really excel with their development. We're seeing that with Wes Welker. We saw that with Doug Baldwin last year. We want to see that same kind of thing with Spruce and maybe Tavon if he comes out of the slot, just because they're so tiny. They can run routes, with precision. And so I hope that he can start to develop alongside Goff in that way.
I do too. I really hope that they keep him, but I think it's going to be similar to Hill, where I don't know if they're going to make this team or not.
Yeah.
They do have Brian Quick. They do have Kenny Britt, Tavon Austin. They've got 3 great starters.
Mm-hmm.
So these are guys that they've really just got to step up during these games to really get in there. And then Green, the running back Green, got the win. 28-24.
Man.
Go LA Rams.
Yeah, we take it. That's right. That's a victory.
Ooh, that was the win, the victory. Fisher, after the game, points out that touchdown right off the bat, that kick return touchdown, is just a tough thing to do. But to come back and win, they did the work.
Yeah.
They worked. They did it. And we get the Rams versus the Chiefs this Saturday. So...
the Seahawks softened up the Chiefs for you, LA, this last week. So you're welcome for that.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's do some predictions.
Yeah.
Talk about what we saw for next week coming up.
And now, your Afterbuzz TV predictions.
So they're playing the Chiefs next week, who now have Foles. So I think it's going to be hopefully it's friendly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not too.
But Foles is definitely he's gonna show he's got something to prove with the Rams. And I mean, he's got a lot to prove, because if Foles can ball out, I mean, Alex Smith is good, but you never know. Alex Smith is one injury away from Foles just taking team and running with it.
And doing well like he did with Philadelphia when Michael Vick went out.
Because Foles isn't afraid to throw deep like Alex Smith. Maybe.
So, what are you looking forward to in next week? Obviously, we know some cuts are going to start to get made as we go into week 3 here. What are you looking forward to next week?
I'm looking forward to seeing more in depth on the wide receiver competition, because they're already starting to kind of tease a lot of that. I want to see what's going on now that we had one of the safeties go down with an injury. I want to see how that backfield is starting to come together with their safeties and their corners. I want to see that. And I also really am interested about Robert Quinn's sister.
That was literally my last note.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Yay. We think alike.
We do. Good minds. I hope that they go to Rio with Robert Quinn and give us a little glimpse into his life and his family, and seeing what's going on with her.
He has to. I mean, he's a standout. So I feel like there's no way that Hard Knocks wouldn't be following him to Rio, because it's exciting. I mean, as a fan, that's what I want to see. I want to see him there with his sister. He was excused from the game because he'd already told him at the beginning of summer, my sister might be in the Olympics.
Yeah, and
so
you don't miss that.
No,
you don't miss
you
that.
do not miss that.
Yeah.
But he also came off back surgery, so he wasn't going to play anyway last week. But he will hopefully play this week, as long as his flight gets in on time.
Right, no kidding.
Fingers
crossed.
crossed back from Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I really want to see some of the guys step up into place, the rookies. And like I said, Spruce is he's going to be I'm going to be his cheerleader.
The Spruce Goose.
The Spruce Goose. The whole team was cheering, Spruce. Everyone's cheering for him. Everyone's rooting for him. I want him to make the team. I'm hoping he does.
He's got to come back with a really strong game this week too, and he starts stringing those together, and you can't deny him. They got to find a spot for him somewhere, if it's on the 52-man roster or on the practice squad to help develop him.
Absolutely. And just so you guys know, last week we talked about the giveaway that we're doing thanks to Throwback Joe.
Yeah.
So we're going to be giving away a hoodie jersey. That's amazing. Signed picture by Vince Ferragamo, and also a license plate holder. And to be a part of the giveaway, all you need to do is follow us. Yeah, Throwback Joe. Follow all of us on Twitter. comment to us. Let us know what you're thinking. Comment on YouTube. Rate us on iTunes with 5 stars. Tell us what you're thinking. Make sure to add your Twitter handle in there so we know who we're talking to. But we want to give away this stuff to you guys.
Yeah, and each interaction will help put your name in the hat for that stuff.
Even more. All right, Joe, where can the people find you until they see you next week talking about Hard Knocks?
Y'all can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, and on, I guess, YouTube, too. All at JoJo Doyle.
And this is Lyndsey here. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner. That's LYNDSEYWEGNER, or my blog, lyndseyWegner.blogspot.com. We'll see you next week for more Hard Knocks action.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Afterbuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterbuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of Afterbuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.